Hello class, this is Mrs. Core, and today we are going to discuss section 3.1, relationships between lines. Our goal is to identify relationships between lines. The keywords we will be describing are parallel lines, perpendicular lines, skew lines, parallel planes, line parallel to a plane. So what are parallel lines? Parallel lines are lines that never intersect. Notation. R is parallel to S. As you can see, these two slanted lines right here represent parallel. Where do you see them in real life? Some examples are rows of desks, stripes on the highway, pillars that are in front of buildings. All of these are places where you see parallel lines every day. So what are perpendicular lines? Perpendicular lines are lines that intersect to form a right angle. Notation, R is perpendicular to T, or S is perpendicular to T. As you can see, the perpendicular symbol is an upside down T between the two lines. Where do you see perpendicular lines in real life? Telephone poles, the center line of a soccer field and the sideline, and the letter T. So in this picture, we're going to determine whether the lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither, and we're going to use proper notation. So letter A asks for us to compare lines N and M. When you're trying to figure this out, you should trace the lines that you're dealing with. So line N is right here in the middle of the picture, and line M is up above it. So what do you think? Line N and M, they are parallel. P and Q. P is this slanted line that's pretty vertical, goes pretty much up and down. Right here, and then Q slants against it. Well, they do intersect, and they don't intersect at a right angle. Right here, there's no red box, so that means it's not a right angle. So these simply are intersecting lines. So we write neither. N and P, N is right here, P is that tall line, and the red box is there. The red box always means perpendicular. So right here, N is perpendicular to Q. What are skew lines? Skew lines are two lines that do not lie in the same plane. As a result, skew lines never intersect. If we look over here at the right, here's line B, and here's line C. They don't intersect, but the reason they don't is because they're on two separate planes. C is vertical, where B is not. It's more horizontal. You would think a vertical and a horizontal line would intersect, but because of how these are situated, they don't. So these two lines, C and B, those are skew. Notation? There is none. You simply say lines C and B are skew lines. And where do we see them in real life? Plenty of places. Bridges going over highways, skywalks connecting buildings over a road. Any place where you have lines crossing each other, they seem like they should be, but they don't actually, because they're on different planes, those are skew lines. So now we'll identify some. It says sketch, then determine whether the lines are skew. You have the drawing in front of you, so trace the lines in question. F and H. So the first question is, do they intersect? Here you should see that H and F intersect at this point right in the middle, the black dot. So these would not be skew lines. Lines F and H intersect, therefore they are not skew. How about letter B, F and G? F is right here. Now G is back here. It seems like F and G might intersect at this point. However, if you think three-dimensionally, you know that F is going through plane B, and you already know that it's intersecting line H. So if you look at how H and G are situated, there's no way that F can also intersect G. G is sitting on this flat plane. So since F and G aren't actually touching, but look like they should be, they're not actually touching because they're on different planes, then F and G are skew lines. Checkpoint. So this is where you're supposed to figure some things out on your own. You're going to identify the relationships between the lines. Use the diagram. Name a pair of parallel lines. Hopefully you picked X and Y. As you can see here, one thing you can tell is they both have these really dark black arrows in the middle of the line. Those black arrows mean that the pair is parallel. So if you were to see double black arrows, then it would mean that those two lines are parallel also. The same number of black arrows means that those two lines are parallel. Name a pair of perpendicular lines. Hopefully you came up with X and Z. There's the red box again. Name a pair of skew lines. Hopefully you came up with Z and Y. Z is right here vertical, crossing X, but we already know that X and Y are parallel, which means they don't intersect. So this dot right here only intersects Z and X, so Y and Z never touch. Y and Z are skew. Parallel lines and planes. Two planes are parallel planes if they do not intersect. A line perpendicular to a plane is a line that intersects a plane in a point and that is perpendicular to every line in the plane that intersects it. Here's an example. Parallel planes right here, F and G. Hopefully that's self-explanatory. Over here, line T is perpendicular to plane A. Line T is vertical. Plane A is actually horizontal. So any point or line on that plane, line T will be perpendicular to. So let's identify some relationships. Name a plane that appears parallel to plane B. Plane B is this green plane up top, which is horizontal. So a parallel plane to it should be plane C, another horizontal plane. Name a line that appears perpendicular to plane B. So plane B is horizontal, so you would think a vertical line. So you should pick line L. Checkpoint, again, you're doing this on your own. Think of each segment in the diagram as part of a line. Draw the sketch, then answer the following questions. Name a plane that appears parallel to plane VX or VWX. VWX is on this right side over here. You only need 3 points to determine a plane. So it is this entire rectangular side over here. Name a line that is perpendicular to plane VWX. So we have parallel and we have perpendicular. And name a line that is skew to line VW. Okay. So a line that is skew to VW VW is right here. We need lines that don't intersect it and are not on the same plane. So TS would work right here. It's never going to touch it. QR right above. QU out front. Or TX. To name a plane parallel to this one on the right would be the one on the left, RST. And name a line that is perpendicular to plane VWX. You should have chosen either TX, SW, QU, or RV, because those planes connect at a right angle. This is the guided practice. How are skew lines and parallel lines alike, and how are they different? These are some things to think about. If you look at K and M, would they be parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Line M and L and J, K and J. And then down here, this is an interesting one. I like 6, 7, and 8. You're deciding if you have skew, parallel, or intersecting lines. Remember, skew means that they are not on the same plane. And it's kind of tricky here because skew would actually go with number 8. See right here in the middle how you have the two chopsticks separated by a piece of carrot? That little piece of carrot separates them onto two different planes. So that's going to make them skew. Parallel should be number 6. You're holding that piece of chicken. And then number 7, intersecting. Right here, your two chopsticks are intersecting right there by that piece of broccoli. So I really like this one. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes your video for today. Please answer your questions for me and submit them so that we can be ready for class. Have a great day.